Hello, everyone. Happy holidays.
Hello, happy holidays.
So, this week we are airing some of our classic Sister Wives Christmas episodes. So, for today, Brooke, what are people going to be listening to today?
So today we are doing, this is from our Sister Wives Rewind. It's a replay of episode 16, going way back. This is season 2, episodes 7 and 8. Episode 7 is called The Brown Family Decision. And then episode 8 is Sister Wives in Holiday Crisis. So it actually starts with episode 7. They're still in Lehigh, and they've decided, Cody and the wives have decided that they're going to leave Lehigh and move to Las Vegas. And they've told the older kids, but they haven't told the younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they want to have one last hurrah, they have to break everyone's hearts and spirits. And so they decide to go up into the mountains into this cabin for Christmas. And that's like...
And hijinks ensue.
Yeah, that's mostly the second episode, the holiday crisis. I don't know. This is a weird episode, but it's a fun episode.
It is. Listen, it's got everything. It really does. It has everything. And my favorite was when I realized that they have been, what's the word, kind of trolling Cody for a long time, these editors, because there's a scene in which they're getting ready to go to the cabin and Robin's talking about how Cody, he has to be so strong. He's the leader of this family. The captain can never be weak. And then we get this thing of Cody going, "Where are my shoes? Where's my stuff? Oh God." Oh, it like freaking out, like trying to pack. I was like, yeah. Good leadership.
Yeah, what a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I remember most, and in a post-COVID world, this is really like traumatic.
Yeah.
Because there's 21 people in this cabin. It's not very big.
No.
And everybody is coughing.
Yes.
Everybody is sick. The windows are fogged, because there's just so many people in there and breathing and coughing. And it's just like, ooh, God, that was traumatic to watch. But it's classic Sister Wives Christmas. So this is the first of 3 Christmas episodes we're going to bring you this week. And I hope you enjoy them as you're going about your holiday activity, whatever that might be.
Yes. And happy holidays to everyone. Enjoy. Bye.
Hello and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of a therapist and an attorney. My name is Brooke Brigham. I'm an attorney, and I'm here with my sister,
Tess Brigham, and I'm the therapist.
So this is a little holiday bonus.
Yes.
Very exciting. Yes. I hope everyone, has a reasonably good holiday.
Happy, healthy holiday.
Yeah, whatever you're celebrating.
Yes.
Or if you're not celebrating. I hope you're just enjoying a day off. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So we thought we would go back in time and talk about one of the holiday-themed episodes from Sister Wives.
Yes, can't get away from it, but yes.
So we found, it's actually 2 episodes. They're only 20 minutes each. So it's kind of like one episode. But it's season 2, episodes 7 and 8, The Brown Family Decision, and Sister Wives in Holiday Crisis.
Ooh, yes.
So this is the beginning, well, not really the beginning, I guess the middle of season 2. They have been out as polygamists for, I think they said 4 months or something. And they're starting to feel a little heat from it. And they decide that for Christmas, they want to get away, get out of Utah, and they want to go to this mountain cabin, which sounds like a great idea in theory.
Yes, until you see what they have to do to get there.
The logistics of it.
Yes.
And
so in this first episode, they do flash on the, those like very special words that come on, which basically says that the DA is looking into the charges. Right. So that's the big peril that they're going through is they've been out now and I didn't quite understand what was happening legally.
Well, what they said was that the local police department, I believe, did an investigation. And then they have turned it over to the county, which I assume means the district attorney. So that's how it works with crimes. You know, if the police believe a crime has been committed, they do an investigation, they submit it to the district attorney's office, and the district attorney's office decides what to do, if they want to file charges, if they think there's enough evidence, whatever. So
right now, at this moment in time, as these episodes are being filmed, the DA is looking into the charges.
Right. And they show a quote from like the local newspaper, or saying that something along the lines of, well, the Browns did us a favor by basically admitting on television that they'd committed multiple felonies.
Yes.
So those are fighting words.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess they had reason to be afraid. But they want to, and obviously at this point, it's clear that Cody has already decided that the family's going to leave Utah. I don't remember if they even said anything about where they were going, if they said anything about
they hadn't said it where they were going yet.
So they've told the 4 or 5 oldest kids, which would be Logan, Leon, Maddie, Hunter, and Aspen.
Mm-hmm.
They've told them that they're moving. They haven't told the younger kids yet. So they want to, I guess, go to this cabin and have one last blast.
And before it all falls apart.
And it's a beautiful setting and cabin, but it's not for 30 people.
Yeah, no, it's not. And it's out. It feels like it's out in the middle of nowhere. Like
it is out
on its own.
It is out in the middle of nowhere. And
so we do get a little bit of business though. Before we go to the cabin, we see Mary putting lights on the tree, and then we see the kids pulling names out of a hat. So we learn that each kid buys a gift for the other kids, and then we go tree shopping.
Oh, this was my favorite part of the episode.
We meet Matt, the frisky tree salesman.
He was kind of cute.
He was cute. I mean, God knows what's going on. He had that hat on the whole time, that big hat. So
yeah, I don't know what the hair situation was. But for a Christmas tree lot attendant, he was pretty good looking.
He was cute, and he was very charming. Yeah, I have to say, I would have fallen for Matt's charms, but Mary was hardcore.
Oh, they were flirting. She's like, "Do you have any mistletoe?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, let me try to find you some." And I mean, they were flirting the whole time. Yes, and then at the end, they hugged.
Yes,
Mary and Matt hugged.
Yeah, which don't you hug the person that helps you with your tree?
Yeah, that's totally normal.
And she was like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with hugging and flirting. That's it." Ha ha ha.
Oh yeah, in their confessional, they're joking about how there was all this flirting going on, and she's like, "Well, that's just fun."
And then we see Robin. Okay, because I had to clarify this with you. We see Robin making ornaments. So she wants to make ornaments for all the kids. She wants to do something special, because she's new to the family and she wants to make a mark, right? And then we get this thing where she kind of then pushes the religious stuff, right? Where she wants to give them things that are the reason for the season.
Symbols of
the season, yeah. So then she puts in a red, what I would assume is a candy cane, but it's solid red, not the red and white. And she tells us that is, what was that?
I thought she was trying to say it was like a shepherd's staff. And that it was a symbol of Christ pulling
the Christ in towards you.
Yes. The way that a shepherd would pull the sheep towards us.
So you want to represent a shepherd's staff, so you pick red sparkles.
Red sparkle candy cane looking thing.
Yes. I mean, just like, so if you want to I just thought that was so weird.
Well, they're ugly ornaments.
Yeah.
She's making one for everyone in the whole family. So that means every single kid is getting one of these.
Yeah. And that's going to be the whole freaking tree.
And they're going to be like, what is this? And it was trying too hard.
Yeah. So, and then we learn about this tradition where the oldest daughters get to make breakfast for everyone. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. How egalitarian.
Yeah. And then we have, hands down, the funniest moment. I'm sorry. And I understand it was a moment of panic for Mary, but so Mary makes everyone pajamas. She's been doing it, we hear it many times, since Leon was 4 years old or 2 years old. Since Leon was 2. Mary has made all of the kids pajamas. So Mary's making her pajamas, and all of a sudden she looks out, and all of a sudden a police car pulls into her driveway, and she panics. She's shaking. And she gets her phone and calls Cody right away. And then the officer pulls out of the driveway and goes back the way he came. And then she goes out to look, and he's helping somebody who's broken down the street.
He was making a U-turn in her driveway.
Yes. Yeah. This is, but I feel like, and I understand, if I was in your position, I would understand the panic. And what they're really saying is that, you know, this is how we're living. We're living every time a cop comes near us, he's pulling in, and then that pit in your stomach. I understand that. But the way the show made it out to be like so dramatic with the dramatic music and all of that. And they stop it right where Mary says, oh, and then he pulled into the driveway, and it's like, you know, now next right, yeah.
Look,
if making a U-turn.
If the police are going to come get you, they're not sending one guy in a patrol car
with you home alone, Mary yelling. So yeah, it's just so cool.
Well, yeah, and then they have a talk and a confessional where
Christine
talks about how her grandfather and his wives were arrested for polygamy, and they were all separated. Her grandfather was a very high up in this church that they're a part of. So yeah, it was a high profile thing, probably make an example out of him. But anyway,
but when you prosecute, you break up the family. We hear this a lot.
Yeah, a lot about they're doing this. They have to move because they don't want their family to get separated. They don't want to break up the family. That's the justification they give to the kids, you know, and the kids, you know, that gives them something, I guess, to cling on to. But anyway, so they're preparing to go to this mountain house. It's like a cabin, but again, it's probably like 3 bedrooms, maybe?
Yeah, it was
4 bedrooms.
It was cute. It was nice. It was completely snowed in.
It was way too small. So anyway, they have to, because it's out in the middle of nowhere, they have to take everything with them. They have to take all the food they're going to need for several days. They're taking all their presents. They're taking the tree they got from Matt. And they're all stressed out. They were supposed to leave at 10 a.m. and they end up leaving at 2 o'clock.
See, this would drive me bonkers. And I keep thinking like, and Cody's like, it's 2 o'clock, we're leaving. And there's only 3 hours
of daylight.
Right?
Yeah.
So knowing that your family is so dysfunctional and you have so much stuff to take, I get that you don't want to be up at the crack of dawn, but why not load up anything that's non-perishable
the day before?
Or
also,
days
it's
before.
cold. You could even put the perishable stuff in the car overnight.
Oh, you're right.
Because it's the middle of winter. It's cold there.
Yeah.
And then to complicate things further, they only have one 4-wheel drive car that can make it all the way to the cabin. So I think they take 4 or 5 cars, but they have to leave the regular 2-wheel drive cars at the bottom and then make multiple trips. They didn't say how many trips. I would love to know how many trips.
They must have been doing that for
10, 15 trips. I mean, they had to take every person, all their stuff, and they had so much stuff. Every car was packed to the gills with stuff. And they show Cody driving on this road and he's slipping and sliding all over the place. I mean, the road is it's just pure snow. It doesn't even look like, I'm sure there's no salt or anything on it. I mean, it's just like snow, just driving on snow. And so they get there. It's the middle of the night.
We're such Californianers. We're like, oh, God, snow, just snow. What are we going to do? That's terrible.
Yeah. No, I'm afraid of snow. I
don't think I've ever driven it.
I've never driven the snow and I never want to. That's why we live very close to Lake Tahoe. And I will not go there in the winter.
Yeah.
I'll go there in the summer, but I'm afraid of the snow. I don't know how to act or drive or do anything.
Steve and I have gone, and Steve's from the East Coast, so he knows how to drive in snow. So you need to get someone from the East Coast with you who's driven in snow.
Yeah.
To come, but it's not fun. It's still scary and still awful.
Yeah.
So anywho, it was just a mess. And you're watching this whole thing knowing, God, you guys must be exhausted, hungry.
And they're so stressed out. Everyone is like snapping at each other.
And it's a tiny place. So sorry to interrupt, but it's such a tiny place that they're showing this stuff loading in. And can you imagine like being someone at the kitchen where your kid's probably like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, what? like, where's the food? Yeah. And it's jammed. Oh.
The place, literally every inch of the living room, kitchen area was just covered with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. I think they eventually got it all sorted out. But when they first got there, it was total chaos. Then, and then they had to bring the Christmas tree in.
Yes.
Then, we're not done. To top it all off, they are getting these snowmobiles. And apparently the guy at the bottom of the mountain who rents the snowmobiles has been waiting all day for them because, of course, they were supposed to leave at 10.
So you know that Cody said, okay, we're going to leave at 10. So, because I don't think this place was that far.
It wasn't a couple hours.
So I think Cody probably told them, we'll be there around noon.
Yeah.
And Cody, they're probably there at they probably got there at 4 or 5, and then they've been loading for 2 hours. It's, 8 o'clock at night. This guy's been waiting for 8 hours.
Yeah,
sure.
Poor guy. I hope he got paid well for this.
Yeah. So they all had to go and get these snowmobiles, and of course, Janelle can't go because she's got to take care of the baby. So Logan, Logan, I have to commend Logan for, and I mean, maybe he's very different privately, and we're just seeing. I don't know. This guy is so calm, so agreeable. Yeah. So they put so much on him all the time. Him and Aspen is so sweet and so agreeable. These two, they so lucked out with those two. They really did, because they got two people that
they're another kids, and they're another set of parents.
Yes, they are.
I don't know what they'd do without them, quite frankly.
And it's very dramatic. And then at this moment, Robin, she takes a moment, she looks around, and she looks at all the children, and she goes, "Nobody can take Christmas away from you."
Yeah. And, Robin was such a Pollyanna in this episode. She was really getting on my nerves. And there was a lot of emotional performances. Like, Cody got
Cody gets very emotional in the next episode.
Choked up at one point because, he's thinking about, I guess he's really scared, and he's thinking about, he's responsible for all these people.
Mm-hmm.
And, I get it. That's a lot, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
When you went on this TV show?
Yeah. Well, and also, what did you think was going to happen when you decided to marry 3 women? Do you know what I mean? There's 4. A little bit, or 4, and then 4, right? So, for example, if you think about it, he is the CEO of this family. He does run the family. And it's a little bit of looking at someone who's the CEO of a company, and they're like, well, this is, I didn't think this is what it was going to be.
Right.
Like, this is leadership. Like, what did you think this was going to be? If you say you want to sign up to be the CEO of a company, that means like being a leader, like doing things. And what's so interesting about Cody is he loves being the leader. He loves being the CEO.
But he's so bad at it.
No, and he's bad at it. But the problem, yes, he is very bad at it. And at the same time, he's also secretly resentful. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I have this job, and this is what I should be doing. But at the same time, I don't want this job, and this is so hard, and I never get the support. But I'm the man of the house, and you should follow me. But no one's respecting me, right? It's back and forth, back and forth. It's like, oh my God, you're exhausted.
Yeah, because it's a this whole trip, and anytime they go anywhere, they move, they take a trip. It's a microcosm of just how mismanaged the family is.
Yeah,
he cannot even. This is not the first time they've traveled as a family. Yes, they have to take a lot of stuff. It's not the first time they moved. They're notorious, even before this series started, they were notorious for constantly moving. Okay, this is not your first rodeo. If you're going on something like this, you need to have a plan. You need to have a spreadsheet. You need to have a schedule. You need to dole out, jobs. You do this, you do that. I mean, almost like a military,
like that other guy, the
procedure.
That one polygamist.
Oh, not Duggar, but Darger.
Yeah, he's got military precision.
Yeah,
that guy, and things get done. And I think those kids are scared of him. But
that's how you get shit done.
Yeah, that's how you get.
Otherwise, if you don't do it that way, you get this total shit show. But. So anyway, that's the end of episode 7, pretty much, right?
And then we learn Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's hard. I didn't write down when we were making the transition.
Yeah, I think this is it.
We learned that they tell the oldest kids, and then we now see the kids and the teenagers are the best. Is in the episode before, we were like, there's one point where the parents were all saying like, oh, this will be so fun. It's so fun for the teenagers. And then they get the teenagers who are like, this sucks.
I don't want to
my
go.
parents for 4 days. I'm trapped. And they know on top of that they're going to have to move. So they discover a hot tub, and it makes everybody very happy. That was like the big highlight. And they start sledding down the hill.
And Mary eats it and almost flies through the window of the cabin. But she's fine.
She's fine. She's fine. But she's quite the daredevil. And again, the show made it super dramatic. Like Mary had died or something like that when she did. But she was fine. And then there's this discussion about kitchen drama.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting. And I think it's a very benign conversation, but knowing what we know now, it is kind of this interesting combination of how they were talking about how small the kitchen was, and all the women, what did Cody say? Knocking hips. Because this is what women should be doing.
Yeah.
In the kitchen, knocking hips, just having a grand time, being so fulfilled by cooking for you and children. And that Robin in the confessional says that how did she say it? She felt really uncomfortable. She didn't speak up enough being in the kitchen, and that everyone's like, oh, we all know it's Christine's kitchen.
Yeah, because Christine she's the head of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And Mary is kind of like her sous chef. The two of them, because Christine enjoys cooking.
Yes.
And
I heard she's good.
Yeah, she's good at it. And also that's been her job for all these years. She cooked for the whole family and all these kids and everything. So she takes charge. She does it. Mary's kind of in there. Robin is sort of on the outskirts, like doesn't quite know what to do. And then Janelle really is on the outskirts.
Yeah,
and
Janelle's happy to be on.
She doesn't want to help. And she says in the confessional, like, this really isn't my forte. I have stronger, things that are stronger skill sets. And then she brings up that in the past, when she's tried to help in the kitchen, she says that she's been called lazy. Or no, she says something about how her domestic skills are maybe not as great, and she's been called lazy, and she's talking about cooking and cleaning. And again, I know that goes back to Mary. That was in the book.
Yeah.
Was that Mary, like if Janelle even left a dish out, like Mary would lose her shit. And Janelle had to get her own refrigerator in her bedroom. She had to get her own little mini fridge because there was so much friction over just sharing a refrigerator.
Yeah.
So this kitchen drama stuff has been going on for years, and Cody, he references it all the time. Like, my wives can't share a kitchen. They each have to have their own kitchen. And it's like, no, what it is that Mary can't share a kitchen with anyone. Because Christine seemed to be, I don't think Christine didn't seem to be upset about the kitchen. Anyway, it was a whole talk about the kitchen drama, and I felt really badly for Janelle, because you could tell that she had just been
kind of beaten down
and abused over this. And in a lot of these older episodes, you look at Janelle and she does seem very beaten down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in season 9 that I'm doing during my rewatch, I've noticed that there's an episode that's all about Janelle and about Janelle's journey. And Janelle admits that in the beginning, she was really shy. She doesn't like attention. It was really hard for her when the cameras showed up, that she's feeling a lot better. Obviously, we see her through this whole weight loss journey that she has. She loses weight, and we see her blossoming from that. And then part of this, I don't know what happens, but you see a clip of her going over to Mary and saying, okay, Mary, over the years, you've approached me about trying to mend our relationship. I think I'm ready. And of course, Mary's like, I don't know if I want to do it now. So typical. Like, you're just like, oh God, Mary, she's, she's trying to put a hand out to you. Like, just try. And I understand how Mary could feel like, well, I wanted to try years ago. But quite frankly, and I don't blame Janelle for this either, my guess would be she was kind of freaking afraid of Mary.
Yes.
And Mary, afraid of what she was going to get.
Scary Mary.
She didn't know what she was going to get. She didn't know how it was going to be. And she didn't feel quite safe enough to do it. And she finally got the courage to do it. But again, Mary has Mary's like Cody, like little or no self-awareness at all.
Very little.
And I think that when those two were first married, I'm sure they both were their egos are so big that they were kind of clashing. And then they bring this new woman in who is Janelle, who's probably very like, don't pay attention to me and shy and reserved. And okay, I want to be a part of this. And I think the two of them just eclipsed her.
I want to know so much more about it, how it came to be that Janelle married into this family, because, somebody posted on the Shit Talk, Facebook page, a newspaper clipping of the announcement of Janelle's marriage to Mary's brother.
That's right. I always forget about that.
Yeah.
Oh, so I wonder, is that some of the anger and resentment? Is Mary mad that she divorced the brother?
Well, and also remember too, before Cody and Janelle got married, Cody's dad married Janelle's mom.
Yes.
Okay, so there's already this relationship dynamic over here, and then the thing with Mary's brother. But in this announcement, like there's this picture of them, and Janelle just looks so happy and fresh-faced. Mm-hmm. They got married in the big temple in Salt Lake City, the big Mormon temple, and they had a wedding reception. They talked about how, she had a big, it seemed like she had like a big wedding. And she said that she had gone to BYU. Mm-hmm. Like she seemed like she had.
I think Janelle's the only one that finished college.
Yeah,
all of that.
I don't know. I want to finish, but she was there when she got married. Mm-hmm. And they talked about her like they were just kind of like your normal average. And I'm like, well, what happened? What happened
with Mary? Is Mary's brother as terrible as Mary?
Well, and obviously Mary's brother's not a polygamist, because that was not a polygamist relationship. Mm-hmm. Neither one of them.
Especially because if they got married in that church, right?
Right.
It's LDS. They don't.
Exactly. It was an LDS wedding. So why is Mary in that, but her brother's not? What happened with the divorce? How did she end up marrying into this? I just need to know so much more.
Yeah, because Cody will say, he said something like, I knew Janelle before Mary and I got married. Oh, so that's how.
Because it was his stepsister.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it was his stepsister, and she was once your sister-in-law. Really? Because she was married to your wife's brother. Right? So your sister, so of course you knew her. She was your stepsister/sister.
I wonder
before she became your celestial wife.
I wonder if Cody's dad and Janelle's mom kind of forced them together, pushed them together.
Oh, interesting.
Like an arranged sort of marriage.
But then why did Janelle divorce that guy? Why did Janelle divorce Mary's brother? That's what I want to know. Were they because they were forced to, pushed on?
I think they got divorced probably for whatever reason. I don't know. And then I think Janelle was kind of floating around, and in the book they wrote, she describes how, they both describe how they were friends. Cody and they called themselves friends. They leave out that they were step siblings. Mm-hmm. But Cody talked about how he would go to Janelle for advice about finances, life, jobs. I think Janelle helped Mary get a job.
I can believe that.
And so I think, his family probably said, this Janelle, she's sharp.
If you should get her in the family.
Cody and Mary, you two are like a couple of, dumb as rocks.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys, why don't you bring Janelle in? She could really help you guys out.
Yes. So I guess that's what happened there. So we move on to the pajama fashion show. So everyone gets their pajamas. Now, some of the pajamas look great and look very cute and look like they're made of that jersey, soft, something you want to wear to bed.
Yeah.
And then some of the pajamas look like stiff cotton that you don't want to wear to bed. So it seems a little... And, one of the kids, like the pants, I'm like, are these shorts? Are these pants? Are these culottes?
Yeah.
You're kind of like, what happened here?
A couple of the girls, they had these sort of, I guess they were supposed to be nightgowns, but they kind of looked like prison-issue nightgowns.
Yes. I know. So pajama fashion show was interesting.
It was interesting. But at least they look like they were having fun.
Yeah, they do. And these old episodes, it is nice to see them because they do look like they're having lots of fun.
Yeah.
They do look like a very happy, unified family.
I liked this episode because it was one of the only times, that we've really seen all the kids together.
Mm-hmm.
At least I have in a while, and a lot of them are just, they're so little and they're cute. And, it was nice.
Yes. And then we get this whole section where we have to watch Cody talk to Christine like she's a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Where Christine's upset about the move. She doesn't want to make the move. And what she says is very true, which is, I don't want to make a move out of fear. I don't want to do this out of fear, which she's right. You shouldn't make decisions out of fear. And she doesn't feel like she has a choice. And Cody is talking to her like she's a child and saying, well, I'm the head of the household, right? I'm the head of the household. You believe I'm the head of the household? And she's like, yes. And I need to make this decision. I need to make this happen. And this needs to be what this is. And you need to get along. And really, again, this is one of those moments where I think Cody really had a moment here to connect with her and just say, this sucks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know this is hard.
This is really hard. Yeah. This sucks. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Nobody else wants to do this if I had any chance. But you know what? I am really scared about going to jail, Christine. I don't want to have happened to us that happened to your grandparents. This is awful. Like, that's all she's looking for.
Exactly.
That's all she wants.
He's incapable of that. He is never, ever able to, just like give some just empathy, compassion, anything. It's always like if you question him or complain about one of his decisions, he just gets upset. He doesn't understand just normal human emotions.
Yes.
Things are hard sometimes and you have to talk through it.
Yeah. But not even that. It's just like, God, sometimes she knows, Christine knows she's going with you. She says,
I'm going with
you. Going with you. But she's telling you, I feel bad because a choice is being made for me.
Right. And I wouldn't
like that. And people, we like to make choices. We like to have control. As much as we feel overwhelmed by choices and control sometimes, we like to have them. When people take away our control, like COVID's a great example of something coming in, happening, you have no control over it, and you have to adapt to it. We don't like that at all. And that's what she's responding to. And he can't even give her 5 freaking minutes of something.
And then he does this real creepy thing where he leans in real close to her head and he says, are you still confused about whether we're going to move?
Oh.
It was really creepy. And I can't even remember what her response was. I think she said no. And he's like, okay. It was kind of like, it was his way of saying, shut up.
Yeah. And then we see the teenagers, which is so interesting. Maddie says the best line where she's like, she doesn't want to leave her best friend because they were going to be legends in this town. And then Hunter cries. Of course, Logan and Aspen, of course, are like, we're sad to go, but we understand.
Stoic.
Of course, doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And then Hunter cries. And Hunter was having a really hard time. And you feel for him. He must have been, 13, 14? I bet you anything. He probably just started high school and probably just started making friends.
Probably
and he was 14. On a football team. And, we all know how weird high school is and all of that. I mean, poor Logan was probably a senior.
I think it was his senior
year. They rip him out and he has to go to a senior year somewhere else. I mean, this is hard stuff. This is really hard stuff. I'm sure Maddie was probably a junior, maybe a sophomore.
I think Hunter was like a freshman. Maddie was a sophomore. And then Mariah and Aspen, I think, are in the same grade. So they were probably juniors.
Leon,
I'm sorry.
Leon and Aspen
are
they had their graduation together.
Right. And then Logan is a senior.
Yeah.
So sucks for all of them.
It really does. It really, really sucks. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
That was a Brown family Christmas.
Yeah, that is a Brown family Christmas right there, full of chaos and deep emotions and drama,
unmet needs.
Yes, unmet high expectations that are met.
It's what else are the holidays about?
Yes, you're right. That is. It's apropos. It is. It's perfect for the holidays.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of buildup and anticipation to, why did I want to do this also?
Why do we keep doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays, everyone. Sincerely. I just hope that, you got through it. Hopefully this podcast will help. And moving forward.
Yes.
All right. So thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast if you enjoy it. Give us a 5-star rating and review.
Tell a friend.
Recommend it. We have a email address, psychlegalpoppodcast@gmail.com, if you want to give us any feedback or suggestions.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
See you next time. Bye.